Welcome back to the channel. My name is Wong. Today I'm super excited because we are showcasing a car that you guys have been requesting on the channel for quite some time. It is a JDM legend and a very special car. This is none other than this 2002 Honda Civic EP3 Type R. It's a very tasteful example and one that has been fully built from the ground up. It's got a forged motor and it's making 160 kilowatts at just the front wheels. And it's got a host of beautiful modifications that really bring this car up to the next level. And I'm here with the owner and the man himself, Ed. How you going, man?
Good. My name's Ed.
This car is so cool. Can you tell us a little bit about your car over here?
Yeah, so I bought the car for my customer. We built the car since 2015.
No way, so you built the car for your customer?
Yeah, now all the forged June internal stuff like high con piston, June con rod, Toda camshaft.
So pretty much all genuine brand name parts.
Yeah, all genuine brand new stuff.
That's really good.
Yeah, so the car is making now is 160 kilowatts. It's running EP3.
Yeah, really conservative amount of power, right?
Yeah, because we just try to use the car daily.
The car looks really cool as well. What parts have you got on it, man?
That's the car come from the bonnet.
Yeah.
So
super aggressive.
Yeah, and with the Mugen grill, genuine Mugen grill.
Mugen grill over there.
And Mugen front lip. So that's a genuine.
It looks really nice, and obviously the facelift edition here. It looks really good, man. I think the combination of the red and obviously the Mugen parts, it's just very Type R.
And Type R. Also, we have the Mugen rear wing. That's a rear wing.
Yeah, you can see it at the back there.
Yeah, so
that looks really cool. Let's have a look real quick.
Yeah.
Oh yes, and the Mugen badge in the middle there. I see you've got some spoon calipers here.
Yeah, that's the spoon calipers.
Big brake kit with the raised gram lights.
Yeah.
Nice, and obviously you've got the Recaros, the LSD. Alright, we're good to go.
Don't do that.
I'm gonna put it in. So Ed, what are your future plans for the EP3 moving forward?
I got a Toda C2 camshaft already.
Okay.
Back to the 98 pump field.
Okay. Just better for being a street car, right?
Yeah, being a street car.
You got aircon, power steering, electric power steering.
Yep.
I think that's perfect, man. What are your favorite aspects about the EP3? I know you've got a lot of different Type Rs, FK8, EK9.
Yeah. So
what do you like about this one?
Because that's the 3-door hot hatch.
Yeah.
Then with the K series.
Yeah.
So that's I like all the EF, EG, EK. Then
exactly.
It's similar. But
yeah, very
with
similar.
The K series.
Yeah. So you prefer K series?
Much more power.
Yeah, but you don't like B series?
I still don't like the B series.
If you had to choose one?
If you choose one, so I prefer B series.
Oh. All right, guys. That's it. That's a wrap. I'm kidding. Now, I can totally understand. B series is just old school. 90s.
Yeah, old school. So
just sounds awesome.
Yeah, so look at the still like B series more than K series because in my age, so
you're young. You're 25.
Oh, next year.
Next year? Oh, 24. It's fine. But no, I can totally understand you. B series is classic, iconic Honda. K series more power, but not necessarily better. Just a different experience.
Yeah, they're different experience.
No, it's really cool how you've done this EP3 up. I think it's one of the most unique examples out here as well. There's not many that's been done up, hey?
Yeah, not many.
How much are one of these nowadays?
I was saying some people are selling like $30,000.
Yeah, but this would definitely demand a little bit more, right?
Yeah, because all the genuine parts, engine has been built.
Well, I can't wait to see how this car drives. I think you've really done it tastefully. And it's a very unique looking example. So thank you again, Ed, for allowing me to showcase your car.
Thanks so much. Thank you, guys.
No worries. Well, I hope you guys stay tuned. If you're enjoying the content thus far, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And guys, let's get into this video. Alright guys, we are jumping in the EP3 Honda Civic Type R. I can't wait to experience this thing and see what it's all about. I hear a lot of comments from you guys wanting to know and wanting to see this car out on the channel, and to be able to experience a tastefully modified example really is going to be a showcase of just how great this car is. So let's set off now and see how it drives, guys. This is the first time I've actually ever driven an EP3, so it's going to be quite refreshing and interesting to see how it fares, because it shares a similar chassis to the DC5 Honda Integra Type R. At the front end, you've got the McPherson struts, which is a bit of a departure from the double wishbone suspension from the EK DC Generation DC2. However, that means it's a little bit more rigid of a chassis, and straight away you feel that right through this car. It's a little bit bumpy. It's currently set up on a set of BC BR Racing coilovers, but feels really direct and really quite agile and nimble. Something to note about the EP3 is that it's Honda's first take on an electronic power steering rack. Obviously they did have it in the NSX, but in recent time this was one of the first cars to have it. So it doesn't have a hydraulic steering rack, and you kind of feel that it's a bit light in the fingertips, and honestly it's a little bit vague. It's not the most predictable of steering racks. It just feels like it's got a similar feeling throughout the entire turning radius. However, it is still very sharp, very agile of a car, like I mentioned before, and it just feels really nice to steer through. So apart from those features, the EP3 is a little bit bigger of a car when compared to the EK. It shares a similar weight to the DC5 Honda Integra Type R at about 1,200 kilograms, so it's not that much more. However, in saying that, the trade-off is that you get a whole lot more space, and then when you're in the cabin, you've got a lot of leg room, you've got a lot of space to store your parts as well. At the back, in the trunk, it really is a sizable 3-door hatchback, and in terms of practicality, I think this car really fits the bill. Having a K-Series engine at the heart, it just makes it a lot more spicy. So from factory, this JDM K20A EP3 came with 160 kilowatts of power, but now Ed has gone to extreme lengths to really push the boundaries of this car, and it's got a fully forged Jun engine with high-comp pistons and a bunch of towed up parts. I'll leave the full mod list in the description box below. But now it makes 160 kilowatts at just the front wheels, and let's see how it goes, guys. Wow, instant torque in this engine. It really pulls when you get up high in the revs. There is seemingly just a bucket load of torque in this car, and it sounds so good when you get on it. I love these sets of roads out here. I've driven here in the DC5, the EG. The car feels really good in the fingertips. There is a bit of torque steer. You definitely feel it right through. It's got some 88R tires and some raised Bram lights. You really have to grab it by the scruff of the neck and drive it, but when you're going, it feels very confidence inspiring. It's a little bit light in terms of the steering feel. You don't really get as much feedback, but there is still a bucket load for this era of car. It does feel like a go-kart, and it's so fun to drive. The gear ratios are so short in the 6-speed K-Series manual transmission. And of course, you've got a factory LSD, and that just makes the traction so much better. Oh, it's so good. And then the brakes. Revs out to 8,500 RPM. I forgot the brakes. It's got some spoon, big brake calipers, and they really stop this car on a dime. You really have to focus when you're driving this car. I'm finding it hard to talk, but you'll have to forgive me. It's a little bit loud in this cabin and bumpy on the roads, but tiny bit of scrub. This thing is so good. You can see me fighting with the steering wheel. There's definitely an inherent amount of torque steer. Honestly, I think The FN2 has a little bit more. That car's a lot more stiff, a bit more unforgiving, but this is a good blend of an old school EK DC5 chassis. But the best part about it, you don't have to be on it at all times to really enjoy this car, because it came from the era of cars that was visceral, raw and engaging. And although it is still an early 2000s car, it still has that right through in its DNA. And because it's a Type R, you have that Type R magic. It has a fully seam welded chassis. You've got a bunch of Type R trickery throughout the car, which just makes it so rigid and firm. And of course, you've got the Type R components that make it truly legendary. This car is also different from all the other Type Rs because it was actually built in England, and that is a departure from all the Type Rs that we know that had come from the 90s. Although it's interesting to note that this JDM model had its engine actually manufactured in Japan, and then it was obviously shipped back to Japan. When you are in the cabin of this EP3 though, it is very Spartan and very reminiscent of an EK or an EG. There's nothing much in here. There's a few carbon trim panels that you would expect from a DC2 Type R. However, it's still got the white backing for the cluster. It doesn't have the tech and I guess the innovation as a DC5 or an FD2 Type R. But in terms of the interior, it still gets the job done. Obviously you've got aircon, and this car has the added bonus of some DEFI gauges, which really help to show you how the car is running. Obviously with a bunch of modifications at the heart of it, you're going to want to make sure that everything's in good running order. The seats are a set of Recaros. They're not the standard SR3s or SR4s that you know and love. It's a little bit more wide and comfortable. It definitely doesn't hug you as tight, but still a nice seat. Coming out in the era of the 2000s, there really wasn't much that could compete directly with how this car handled and drove. And in terms of a go-kart type of performance and feel, it really just is unmatched for this era. The cars that you compare it to, honestly, is a Golf GTI. So in terms of comparing this car to the DC5, honestly, the steering is a little bit more vague than I'd like. The car is really insane though, because every time you jump on it, it feels like it's steering you into, well, the oblivion. There is a whole lot of things happening in this car, which keeps you really involved and on your toes. However, I would like it to be a little bit more dialed in and just a bit more informative in terms of the feedback from the steering wheel. But for what this car is at the end of the day, I really think it is an awesome daily driver, and one that still has the roots and the potential of becoming an awesome track car. And I think this is really what it's really suited for. To pick one up now in today's market, you're looking at spending around 20 to 25,000 Australian dollars. But for what this car has, this would set you back much higher in the price range. But I think it's a lot of car for the money, especially for it being a JDM legend. They just don't make cars like this anymore. And I've had a blast. Thank you so much for allowing me to showcase this car. You know, Ed and I have had so many fun experiences, and he owns so many of these cool cars. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this EP3 Honda Civic Type R, and as well as that, consider subscribing to the channel, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Please take care. Bye for now.